Hey everyone, Perry Tinsley here, creator of the Power Blast podcast, owner of PutYourselfFirst.com, and I want to welcome you to my video here today. A little entry, just kind of sharing the initial story. I'm thinking of this as a decade for change. That's kind of what has occurred. It's been 10 years since I lost Terri Tinsley to a car crash. And I'm going to share this journey with you of what happened. Now, I won't go into all the details in this video, but here's the situation. December 9th, 2003, typical day. I think that was a Tuesday, and we had just come off a really highlight weekend for us. My parents had come down for the weekend and gave us this amazing popcorn popper and I don't mean like a popcorn. I'm talking like a popcorn cart for a home theater that we had just built in our basement. So things are really rocking and rolling, and that was just a highlight for us. It's like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. And the reason my parents came down is because we were doing an event. I believe it was at PetSmart or Petco, one of those pet food outlets, that my dad was going to be Santa and do Santa Paws. And Terri was she was the president and the founder of ARF's German Shepherd Rescue. And so she was doing this as a fundraiser. And there were a lot of different, I think PetSmart was doing a holiday fundraiser, so there was a lot of different animal rescues within the store all around. We were just doing the Santa Paws thing, and it was just such a highlight for Terri to do that. And we had an amazing weekend. Got together with some friends. That was kind of an unexpected journey for her to even step out and say, yeah, let's go join them for brunch, because that wasn't like her too much to do some of those impulsive things and do things on a whim. But here it was that morning, coming off that, and I was shaving and face full of shaving cream. Terri comes in, and she had gotten all done, and I thought she was getting ready for work, and she kind of gave me this real uncertain look in her face, and I was like, wow, I forgot that she was going in for a root canal, and she was really scared about it. And with that root canal, she used to always compare things to, that was like the worst thing you could ever have. She goes, oh my gosh, I'd rather have a root canal than to do this. So that was like the thing. So she's going in for this root canal, and she had to drive about 45 minutes to Madison, Wisconsin. We were living in Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin at the time. So she took off in the morning to do that, and I kind of gave her like a little half hug. I didn't want to coat her with shaving cream, so I just kind of gave her that hug and whisked her on her way, and that was it. It was kind of half-hearted, and I was like, oh, not half-hearted, but I mean just a half a hug, and it's like, oh my gosh, feel really bad. Good luck with it and everything, and didn't think much of it, that anything with that. So I went about my day. I videotaped in a classroom. That's what I was doing. I was videotaping in classrooms and then using that for teacher training. And the day went on as usual. And I came back later that day, and as I pulled up, my neighbor was walking down the street toward her house. And I pulled in, and at the time I knew I had to get inside really quick, because my wife, running a dog rescue, had just taken in 5 German Shepherd puppies. They were German Shepherd mix of some sort, and these puppies had to go out, right? So Mabel, my neighbor, turns around and goes, oh, Perry, can I use your phone? And so I was like, well, why do you want to use the phone? Sure, come on in. I'm like, what's wrong with yours, or what's going on? Because I thought maybe she had a break-in or whatever. And I'm like, sure. And so I opened the garage, and I just thought it was odd that Terri wasn't home yet. And it was weird that Mabel would want to use my phone. And so I kind of had just these uneasy vibes right away, but I didn't know why. But I'm like, I said, Mabel, sure, come on in, but I have to let these dogs out, and I have to get down the street to a hair appointment. I had to get a haircut. And she's like, oh, you might want to, she was kind of like, almost like you might want to reschedule that. I don't know if she said those words or not, but that really kind of gave me a little alert, but she wouldn't tell me anything. So I went and let the dogs out. She made her phone call, and I'm like, is everything okay? And she's like, well, I don't want to, I can't really share much. And so I'm like, what's going on, Mabel? Are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm okay. But she was really uneasy. And so maybe about 5-10 minutes later, I got a knock at the door. She's like, oh, somebody's here for you. And so she knew who she was expecting. And so I went there, and I forget the guy's name, but he's like, hi, Perry. Nice to meet you. I'm so-and-so, the county coroner. And it's just like right then and there, it's just like, it was wow. I get emotional about it now, but I didn't then. Sorry about that. I didn't think it would be already video one. But so the I was basically just in shock listening to him, but he wanted me to sit down before he told me that, and I was like, why? I wanted to, I could just stand up and listen to him. But I sat down, he told me everything, and it was as if he was just talking to somebody else. It wasn't me. And I was like, wow. I mean, all these things just started running through my head of to-do lists. It was crazy because I was trying to comprehend everything. I understood all these things that would need to be done, contacting all these people and letting them know about the loss of their daughter or the loss of their friend or the loss of their niece. It was crazy. And I didn't know what to do there, and so I did a little brainstorm. After he left, and he told me, that Terri, where Terri was at, and kind of the situation that happened. And I don't want this video to go too long here, so I'll share more a little bit next video. But I sat there and kind of brainstormed a little bit with my neighbor, and she. I guess they, didn't want to leave anybody alone, so she kind of hung out until the next logical person that I called was, and I probably developed my friendship with Mabel a lot more because of this incident. I knew Mabel, and we're, acquaintances and stuff, but, weren't really tight buddies and things like that, but, we watched out for each other. And we're pretty solid, I would say at the time. More solid now. Love that lady. She's just awesome. But they told me where Terri was, and that she at 1:00 and 1:40 in the afternoon, somewhere on there, had been heading home on a highway, and her car veered across the center line. And it just happened to be she was going up a hill and crossed over the center line, and a semi was coming just on the other side of the hill, couldn't veer away from her, and hit head on at 60-65 miles an hour each, and totally destroyed, pulverized her PT Cruiser, and she was pronounced dead on the scene. And I'll share a little aha in the next video or so on where that was. But as he shared this with me, it was just very, very surreal, and just the thought of creating to-do lists, I don't know where that was coming from, but I just knew that I kind of needed and wanted to be the one to celebrate this lady's life and to coordinate all of the things that were going to happen up to, her funeral, etc. But I've never planned a funeral before or anything like that. I just kind of knew that it was like, I want to plan this, but I need help. And so I called Terri's secretary, who worked very closely with Terri the past few years, and so we got together and started brainstorming. So the lesson from this, I mean, you never know, and you hear this, it's so cliche, right? Until it's real. You never know when that last moment's gonna, happen with, say goodbye to somebody or whatever. I think that's probably why, a lot of people you see go to take trips at, they go to take trips at the airport, and they do a lot of hugs, goodbye, etc. I don't know if it's like, I'm never going to see you again or whatever, but embrace that, with your family. That's kind of it with what I learned there. Even though it was a little half-hearted hug, that was our last, good luck, I love you, see you later. It was still, I said I love you, still the hug in the morning, still they have a great day type of thing. The great day didn't turn out to be great for her, for the rest of us, but at least I felt very content. It's very easy to beat myself up, and that's another lesson that I've learned along the way, is that forgiveness, and I'll share more in another story. But there's my message today, and gosh, video one and already emotional.